sinister pact. It all began with a sleepless night. Sana lay on her worn-out couch in her dimly lit apartment, scrolling aimlessly through her phone. Life had become a series of disappointments, a dead-end job, overdue bills piling up on her kitchen counter, and the sting of her ex-fiance's engagement announcement haunting her social media feed. The only sounds were the hum of her refrigerator and the distant buzz of traffic below her apartment window. Her thumb hovered over the screen when her phone buzzed unexpectedly. It wasn't a usual notification. It was a friend request from someone called The Watcher. The profile was bare. No profile picture, no details. Just a tagline in bold letters. "I see you." Sana chuckled nervously, assuming it was a prank, but there was something about the profile that felt off. She had ignored requests from random strangers before, but this one gripped her attention. A faint sense of unease clawed at her, yet curiosity outweighed reason. Against her better judgment, she clicked accept. The moment she did, a message appeared. "Welcome to the game, Sana. Do you want to change your life?" Her stomach tightened. The wording felt deliberate, as if whoever was behind the account knew her struggles. She hesitated before replying. "Who is this? Is this a joke?" The response was instantaneous, almost as if the sender had been waiting. "A game where your dreams come true, for a price. Say yes, and I'll prove it." Her instincts screamed to block the account, to report it and forget it ever existed. But the word price lingered in her mind. What did she have left to lose? Everything in her life had already spiraled out of control. What harm could one message do? With trembling fingers, she typed, "Yes." For a moment, nothing happened. Then her phone screen flickered, the brightness dimming until it went black. Sana tapped it nervously. When the screen lit up again, it wasn't Facebook or her messaging app. It was a live video feed of her own living room. Case, the phone slipped from her hands onto the couch. She glanced around her apartment, her pulse quickening. The camera panned to her, sitting frozen on the couch, staring at the screen. "We're connected now, Sana. You have one wish. Use it wisely." A bead of sweat trickled down her temple. Her first instinct was to throw the phone against the wall, but instead she gripped it tightly. "What kind of wish?" she typed. "Anything. Wealth, love, power. A second chance. Choose wisely. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." The words hung in the air like a spell. Despite the terror gripping her, a flicker of hope ignited. Her thoughts spiraled. What if this was real? What if I could escape this miserable life? She stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity before typing, "I want to be rich." The app closed itself abruptly. Her heart pounded in the silence that followed. Then her phone buzzed. A new notification lit up her screen. "Bank alert. Your account balance is $1 million. Her breath hitched. She opened her banking app, and the number stared back at her. $1 million. Her heart raced. It had to be a scam, right? But before she could process it, another buzz came through. It was The Watcher. "Payment due in 7 days. Fail to pay and we'll take back what's owed." "Payment? What payment?" she typed frantically. But there was no response. The next morning, Sana awoke to a knock at the door. A courier handed her a check for $50,000, claiming it was from a distant relative who'd passed away. By noon, her landlord called, apologizing profusely for accidentally charging her double rent for months and refunding her thousands of dollars. Her boss promoted her to a position she hadn't even applied for, tripling her salary. Everything was falling into place as if by magic, but the shadow of the payment loomed over her. Sana tried to enjoy her newfound fortune, but every time she glanced at her phone, she expected another message. The Watcher was silent. By the fourth day, strange things began happening. Lights in her apartment flickered and electronics malfunctioned. She woke in the middle of the night to find her phone buzzing on its own, displaying cryptic symbols that vanished before she could capture them. And then there were the whispers. Faint at first, they grew louder at night. Low, guttural voices speaking in a language she couldn't understand. Her paranoia grew. She tried to block the watcher, even deleted her Facebook account. But the messages still found her. Time is running out, Sana. Are you prepared to pay? She didn't sleep that night. On the sixth day, the watcher sent her a final message. A life for a life. You have 24 hours to decide. Someone you love or yourself. Sana's blood ran cold. She typed furiously. No, I never agreed to this. The reply was instant. You did. A pact is a pact. Her mind raced. Could she run, hide, call the police? But deep down, she knew there was no escape. As the hours ticked by, her thoughts grew darker. She thought of her ex-fiancé, of the boss who had belittled her, of strangers she barely knew. Could she choose someone she didn't care about? But the more she thought about it, the more the guilt consumed her. At exactly 11:59 p.m., her phone buzzed one last time. Time's up. We've made the choice for you. The screen went black. A moment later, a blood-curdling scream echoed from her neighbor's apartment, her best friend's. Sana rushed over, trembling. She found her friend lifeless on the floor, her face contorted in terror. On the wall above her, scrawled in blood, were the words, "Payment received." Sana shut herself off from the world. She donated every penny of her fortune, deleted every account she owned, and moved to a remote cabin. But the fear never left her. Late at night, when her phone buzzed unexpectedly, she would freeze, paralyzed by the thought that the watcher wasn't done with her. And sometimes, just sometimes, she could swear she heard whispers in the shadows, reminding her of the price she had paid and the one she might still owe. The end.